Hi! Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Elias. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, honestly, what was gonna be this video? Originally, I was going to have this video part of a series where I read different genre of book. And in this genre, it was supposed to be all about romance books in general. And then I was like, wait a second, no, we're gonna switch it up. And I was going to read a chapter from every one of my TBR books for this month. In the previous video that I made, I'm going to read a chapter from each of those books and other books to see, whatever sparks my interest, see if I can plow straight through them or whatnot. And that really didn't happen. I mean, it did, but that's not why I'm making this video today, right now. This intro comes post after reading this particular book. But I guess I have Twitter of all places, or X, I should say. I have found fan art through Tumblr back in the day, and because of those fan arts, read these books and absolutely love them. I mean, for an example, we have The Foxhole Quartz, we have Wolf Song, we have The Sword of Kagan, and honestly, now we have Plot Twist, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is one of the most beloved paranormal romance books out there. Ali Hazelwood, I have seen her particular name just blown up all over booktok, book Twitter, bookish space in general when it comes to romance, that particular genre. I didn't even know what this book was about until I saw the fan art. And if you know anything about me, I love me a good, strong, fluffy, badass werewolf. I mean, hey, from the beginning of Twilight, I was always Team Jacob. However, recently now, I'm a Robert Pattinson stan. Just recently saw Mickey 17 and oh my god, that movie was incredible. Robert Pattinson, his range, I could make a whole video just talking about Robert Pattinson, Mickey 17. Anyways, but that's not the purpose of today's video. But today I am talking about Bride by Ali Hazelwood. The other Ali book that I know that a lot of people also talk about is The Love Hypothesis, which is apparently a Raylo fanfic, but I was pleasantly surprised when I found out that, this book is about not only a werewolf, but a werewolf who takes a vampire as a mate. Sold. Completely sold. Did not expect that at all. But anyways, I had to wait even weeks before I could even read this book, because when I first saw the fan art, I was like, oh, okay, it's about a werewolf. I'll go and see if Libby has it. Every single library card that I have to these libraries, they have the book, but so many people, so many of you guys are still reading it. And I was like, okay, let me check out how popular this book is on Goodreads. As of today, on Goodreads, it has a 4.0 rating out of 530,000 ratings. That is insane. And the sequel is coming out this year or something called Mate. May this love find me in 2025. Anyways, but I tried putting a hold on this book at multiple libraries because I have multiple library cards. That is a hack, life hack for Libby. But anyways, after about like a month and a half, it finally popped up. This book is ready for you to borrow and read. And I was like, see, the hype died down for me. And I was like, I don't know. Anyways, I was just bored one night and I downloaded it and started my Kindle and I pulled pretty much almost an all-nighter. I was shocked. But what you should see coming is that this video is currently sponsored by Raycon. Because of course, if I ended up hating the book, I obviously had to get compensated. So these are the Raycon everyday earbuds. Typically when I read, I actually like to listen to some music, not the super loud, thumping, chaotic music with lyrics and everything. It's more of an ambiance, a vibe. Okay, I have a whole reading playlist on my Spotify that I specifically go to every single time I want to block out the rest of the world and just invest into my book. It basically goes with almost every single book that I read, especially as a mood reader. It's super sleek, super compact, basically take it everywhere with me everywhere I go. One of the cool things about it is that it's compatible with wireless charging. I got the blue water case because why not? I'm an Aquarius, with the color of the earbuds in black. Battery life on this thing is no joke, 32 hours. And already within 10 minutes, it already gives you an hour and a half of use. It allows you to connect to 2 devices at once with multi-point connectivity. And of course, the essential active noise cancellation to block out the rest of the world. Designed using over 1,000 ear scans, by the way. It's dust-proof, water-resistant, and with a sleek, buttonless design and intuitive LED UI, you basically have the perfect pair of earbuds for everyday use. Basically using these every day now, every time I'm reading, on the go, being active, these stay on, and they're my favorite go-to earbuds. You literally have nothing to lose with their 30-day happiness guarantee and free returns. And the best part, you can save 20% right now. So get your own pair of Raycon earbuds today. You can head to buyraycon.com/Elias. That's me, or click on the link in the description below. Again, everything is linked, and thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Alrighty, so before we get further into the whole vlog and all of my thoughts and everything, I have read a good, decent chunk of the book so far. And what I have already read, whew, I absolutely love. This book is just so funny, so fun, and the writing, Allie's writing here, I'm being well fed, I'm eating. It's not as, how to describe this, as typical as other paranormal or romantasy books I've read from, if that makes any sense. A lot of the books I read from in this genre that have been recommended on like booktok, for an example. You get my point, okay? The amount of times that I have laughed out loud from the jokes the characters have said, the descriptions, the writing in general, in a good way, have just been super cathartic because I have not laughed or really enjoyed a book like this in so long. I can't even begin to tell you or even remember the last book I read that has made me feel like this. So in a way, it's sort of rejuvenating because so far this year, I literally have only read a couple of books and they were great, but this one is just on another level of enjoyment. This is just the intro of the video and what I wanted to start with, saying I am now currently reading and currently loving and enjoying one of the most popular paranormal romance fantasy books out there. So here's to hoping that it'll stick, that it'll last, that it'll stick the landing, because I know that there is a sequel, but I'm not particularly sure if it follows the same character or what's going to happen. It does have a heavy dose of mystery in it, which I'm currently loving so far at the moment as well. So we shall see. Oh, also, I just want to quickly mention I'm on this romance kick because I've started this other romance book. And this one is not that good. It's called Twisted Love by Anna Huang. And I am like 50% of the way through Twisted Love. Don't know what pushed me to even read that far. I should have stopped at like a few chapters in, but I don't know, I just kept on reading. It was pretty interesting in the very beginning with all of the, of course, familiar tropes and all that. The super hot, rich, bad boy billionaire boyfriend with a tragic past, of course, with a heart of gold. And our main character, a fluffy sunshine, good girl with also a heart of gold as well, who also has a spicy, mean streak to her. Who knew? Who knew? I mean, of course, it was enjoyable to a certain degree, but Bride, on the other hand, when I started Bride, just pausing Twisted Love, I was like, the range, the difference. Anyways, just wanted to give you just a little tidbit on that, on Twisted Love, and just the continuation of Bride. Okay. So I have thoughts and notes so far regarding this book. I actually really like it. I saw this fan art on Twitter. Literally Twitter is like a totally different place now. I honestly don't even see any bookish stuff anymore. Like if likes were public, totally different. Anyways, I somehow stumbled upon some fan art because sometimes I will get the occasional random fan art of like some other series or books. And this one particular fan art got me interested. I was like, oh. And in the comments, they're like, oh, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And I was like, I've heard of the title. I've heard of Bride. But tell me why I didn't think it was paranormal or fantasy in any way. I had no inclination of what the book was about until I saw the fan art. And I was like, what is this? I put a hold in my library and I finally got it. Anyways, I got the notification that it was available. And it was like somewhat late at night. And I read. And I kept on reading. And let me tell you, I'm obsessed. There are two main characters. The first girl, her name is Misery, which, by the way, when I first read it, I was like, miserable much? Anyways, there's a huge tongue-in-cheek moment in which she explains why, but I still was like, okay, on the fence about it. But whatever, it's just a little tidbit. Her love interest, we start right off the bat, okay? Like, they're about to get married. Like, in the first few pages, they are literally exchanging vows. Except, I already know. I knew it. The moment she stepped in, the moment he sniffed and smelt her, okay? That moment, you know. Everything, of course, changed. And she, of course, none the wiser is like, you're being so weird. Get away from me. He's like all up in her face and everything. And yeah, so we get this tumultuous relationship in which our two main characters get along but don't get along, except she's his mate, you know? So our main character, his name is Lo, but for some reason in my mind, I keep pronouncing it as Lueve. Literally, Lueve reminded me of a much older Ronin, more furry, with a lot less tattoos and all the green flags. Lueve has so many green flags, which is kind of refreshing to see and read about instead of all like the bad alpha male dominant guys. Don't get me wrong though, this guy's plenty dominant with all the green flags. And I don't know, this is something I find that I'm really into. Here's to hoping that this love finds me in 2025. Obviously not. You know what I also really like? I really like author incorporates Loewe's like thought process or snippets of like his thoughts as excerpts in the very beginning of every chapter. There's like a sentence of how Loewe feels about a certain character, wink wink, you know, if you know what I mean. I really liked that gave us the barest smidge of what he felt or what he is thinking about of her. Okay, and I don't know, I thought that was a little precious. You're getting a little into his insight a little bit as the chapters progress, as the story goes on. Also, the first spicy smut scene, if you know me, I typically always tend to skip heteronormative, just sex scenes in general when it comes to straight smut. However, here, Allie, I don't know, the way she crafted these characters in her writing, it got me to stay. And I was like, okay, Allie, you did something that not a lot of authors can do. And here I was, like actually giggling, kicking my feet in the air, you know? I didn't actually do that, but you get the imagery, you get the visual, okay? You get the feeling. And I was like, wow. I love the fact how respectful Loewe is. It's almost like she comes into his life as his mate, but he's not going to burden her with that knowledge. He could have flat out said, you're my mate, you're coming with me, I'm locking you up. This could have been like a Beauty and the Beast scenario situation right here, okay? She could have like, I don't know, gained Stockholm Syndrome. You know, like those really intense romance genre books that, I don't know, make multifaceted layered characters where the guy is like super tragic and dominant and she's like, she sees through him even though he takes advantage of her and she's like, you know what? You're more than I thought. I'm in love with you. No, none of that bullshit here. It was actually a healthy relationship in this weird context of a supernatural world. I really like, above all, the mystery that the author is incorporating into this, because the mystery is a huge reason why our main characters are doing what they're doing, why this alliance is happening, why our main character, who's a vampire by the way, goes into werewolf territory for reasons I shall not say. There's a deeper underlying plots there. I initially was going to read like the first couple of chapters and being like, okay, I'm gonna get a gauge on this, see if I feel it, go through with it. Almost half the book later, here I am, and literally been reading so much of the book now that I'm like, I guess I'll just make like a really quick, low effort stakes reading vlog about this and see where it takes me and see where it goes. And so here I am. That is my whole thoughts on Bride so far. Like surprisingly, very good. Here's to praying and hoping that it stays that way. So I don't have my mic plugged in right now, so the sound might be a little off, but I'm now currently like this much left in the book, 78%, give or take. Really loving the banter, the conversation, the dialogue, the dynamic between Lo and Misery. Their relationship, to me, just keeps getting better and better. You know how sometimes in books like this, the relationships between the characters, they get stilted after a while. You know where it's going, and I do know where or how it sort of ends up. Usually when it comes to books like this in their relationship, I could care less, because at this point you already know they're going to end up together, you already know what's going to happen. But here it's like the relationship is still new, it's fresh, it's interesting to me. I am invested, I care about them, you know? I'm like pretty much 80% of the way through, and I honestly can't even tell you how it's going to end, even though clearly I already know Misery is Lo's mate, Loewe, as I sometimes call him. Yeah, I don't really know how this is going to end, because I do know that there's a sequel, but I don't know if the sequel is following a different character, if it's going to continue on with this story. I want to quickly talk about something. Did not think I will be learning new words in this book. I learned a new one. A particularly interesting word, protuberance. According to Google, it means a thing that protrudes from something else. You want to take a grand guess what that protruding from something else is? This is crazy because it's already crazy that it's like werewolf sex, right? I don't know. This type of freaky is something I would expect to read in a book like Ice Planet Barbarians or something. You're telling me that as the sex goes on, as he gets harder, it just more into it and it gets more intense, his sex drive just expands? Like it gets bigger? I think I understand why humans would fucking die. And Misery is a vampire, meaning that she's a supernatural creature, and yet, that's crazy. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about this. Wait. Okay. Stop. Wait a hot freaking second. This was not what I envisioned in my mind. What the fuck is a knot? What the fuck is that? What? This is some freaky shit right here that I have never read before in a romance or in a werewolf supernatural book. I'm confused. A knot? So when a werewolf in this particular circumstance has sex, there's something called a knot. It locks them inside their partner? Or I don't get it. I can't envision it. All I'm thinking about is like a bow tie or something. Or a knot? What is a knot? I'm so confused. This is not... I was not expecting this. I literally had to sit back and think about this really hard for some reason. Because... what the fuck is that? This is a little freaky! What? What is a knot, you guys? Please, someone explain. Okay? Thank you. So I went on Reddit. Tell me why this is the first time I'm reading about something like this. This is my first intro book, like an actual book that's about the Omegaverse. I'm not too clear on what the Omegaverse or what that entails, but this is where I find out this is how dogs have sex, like actual dogs. I honestly don't even know how factual or true Reddit is on the subject matter. Because apparently a knot is something that is at the base of you know what, and it doesn't, and it's a knot, and it just doesn't coalesce or smooth out until they, they explode or release. That's crazy. That's crazy. What the fuck am I reading? Crazy. Just had to add a little bit, this little tidbit. Not me thinking. At first, protuberance, or whatever the fuck it was described, was something that made his dick get bigger as he was, like, having an orgasm. That is not the case. That is absolutely not the case. This is some freaky ass shit right here that I did not expect to even know or learn about. So... thank you, Ali Hazelwood, I guess, for my first intro to the Omegaverse, which I still have yet to go down a rabbit hole of. Omegaverse? What is Omegaverse? Someone explain to me in pop-based terms, please. Some slight spoilers here. If you don't want to know or hear or listen to anything, skip to this portion of the video. Fuck Lueve, okay? I know his name is Lo. But this fucking bitch, if a man came on my back, okay, leaving his mess, and I'm like, I think we're mates. I say that to him, and he's like, all of a sudden, giving me cold feet and being like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm interested in you sexually and physically, but I don't think we're like that. Oh my fucking God. I would either kill myself or kill him or kill both of us, because that is not the type of shit you would pull in order to protect someone. What kind of half-ass answer was that? I would be so fucking pissed. I'm pissed for Misery, okay? Like, this is not okay. I'm hoping that we're like 80% of the way through. So I'm assuming some shit is gonna happen, bust down, something is gonna drop. And I'm hoping Misery drops his ass. Because that is what he deserves. So, fuck Lueve. I said what I said. You're telling me he fucking leaves her? After he came on her back? That is just the epitome of a horrid back shot, if I say so myself. That's it. She's done. I'm done. She needs to leave. Never speak to him again. It's what he deserves. I don't give a fuck what the reasoning was. But they spent weeks, almost like months together at this point. We're 80% of the way through. And for him to say and do all that? Unforgivable. I'm sorry, but fuck the second book. Maybe fuck this. I don't know. This is pissing me off. I'm pissed. Fuck Lueve. You know what should have been Endgame this entire time? Right now? Should have been the girls. Now they're together. So, what's that to stop from happening? Okay. It's late into the night and finally finished. Where do you even to begin? I think I will sleep on this for now. A lot of thoughts, good thoughts. I think I may have been a little too rash with my initial reactions with Lueve earlier. Yeah, that was an incredibly steamy last, 10% of the last book. I did think a little bit was a little rushed. Things were wrapped up a little too nicely for me, and I thought we were going to end it there. We were not going to get a sequel until the very last, paragraph, until I was like, oh, okay. I see what we're going to do there. Like, I thought this would be a standalone as how everything was going to come, but this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, managed to read the last 15% or so in the past couple of hours, just chilling with my reading playlist. But all in all, I think I'm just gonna sleep on this and process all of this later, since it is a little late. So far, it was really, really good. So, initial reaction, like right off the bat, finishing everything, strong 4.5 out of 5. Strong 4.5 out of 5 even. It wasn't like a perfect 5 stars, but it was a really, really strong, good 4 stars. 4 out of 5 for me. So I already looked up the next book and know what's gonna happen, and I'm interested. I have thoughts, but we'll save that for later on. Alrighty, hello, we are back. It is now the next day or so, and here are my final thoughts on Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This was a banger. This was pretty much everything I wanted to, not expected, but wanted to expect in a book like this. It played everything correctly, like all the tropes were done really well, the relationship, the dialogue, the dynamics between two main characters, Misery and Lueve, they were great. I loved it. She didn't spoon feed us like all the information, which I really liked. We gathered a lot of things along the way with Misery, which made sense with her character being just really new to the werewolf territory and just werewolves in general, which I really liked because that allowed us, the audience, to go along this journey with her. And so I really liked the ending. And while I did like the ending, I thought there were some aspects that were wrapped too neatly, too nicely in a little bow for us. The last paragraph gives like a huge dead giveaway to the next book in this series, duology. I mean, there's a lot of grounds that we could explore and venture off, which, you know, I am very interested in, you know, how that plays out. But there were a lot of nods and familiar tropes. There are so many things you could do with the paranormal genre, but this one was done in a way that was still fun, still inventive, and it was just really entertaining. And I want to give a heartfelt apology to Lueve because I understand where he's coming from now. Obviously, initially, I was a little brash, and just a little crass about, you know, his whole relationship with Misery when, you know, he did all that. I guess Bride is like my first initiation, or hazing book to the Omegaverse. I don't know if I have read actual books in the Omegaverse that takes place, or if it's appropriate to even use the word Omegaverse, because I've read like Patricia Briggs' books and the others by Anne Bishop. I don't know, this was like the first time I read stuff that is contained in the Omegaverse, like The Knot. If you know, you know. This was my first time reading something like that, and I'm still confused on the whole like mating, how you do it situation between Lueve and Misery. At first, I thought I knew what they were talking about until we get to another spicy scene, and I was like, why do you have that? What is that? Is it an animal thing? I guess it was a very educational read, because in all of my 30 years of existence, I had no idea that that was how dogs, like real life dogs, also like have sex in general. So that was a whole new thing for me to learn from. I am really interested in reading more from Ali Hazelwood in general because I really liked her writing. I will stand by my initial rating of a really strong 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 is a great rating. I mean, my first venture into the Omegaverse, my first book from Ali Hazelwood, 10 out of 10, can't complain. So yeah, that's my update on Bride. I haven't ventured further than like 50%-ish through Twisted Love by Anne Huang, and I don't know if I'm going to continue because I'm pretty sure I went ahead and read each synopsis from the next books, and they all focus on different guys with different girls, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that because I'm not really interested in like the whole friend group. This is another trope where the romance genre takes a whole new level where it follows like these different friends in like this group. I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to, you know, commit my time to all of these hetero relationships. Even though Bride was about a straight supernatural couple, I don't know, I was invested. I really liked their relationship. I didn't even skip any of the spicy scenes, any of the smut scenes even. But yeah, just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, that is my consensus, my general thoughts and feelings, and the vlog on Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I truly did not expect to be enjoying one of the most popular books out there on BookTok or in the bookish community in general, but here I am. Please let me know down below if you have read and enjoyed this book, or if I should read any other books by Ali Hazelwood, even though I do know that they're not paranormal or fantasy, like more so on the spectrum of like contemporary romance, hence the Raylo fanfic. Don't know too much about it, but I do own The Love Hypothesis, so we shall see. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you soon with a new video.